undertook the task to measure this. Alicia Bremer, Chuck Baker, John Catrone, who already we noticed, Mike Deputy, Floyd Hatch, Mark McCashland, and Devin Thorpe. And I've got to say, in fairness to Devin, he didn't tout his own credits, but Devin was the one who's had the vision. We should print a booklet and we should name the details of all these projects. How many hours, how many dollars, and so forth. So we owe a lot to Devin and the vision that he had to bring this about. John Catrone's efforts have been immeasurable. He took the raw data that we gave him and turned it into this book. He's in the book. So maybe that's was a natural to have him. Thanks for volunteering, John. But it's amazing. What we had was a spreadsheet, and what we came back with, what John came back with, was this great booklet. And it's going to be fun to take time to look at that. Let me just mention 2 or 3 items in the booklet that you should be aware of, and that's what we'll do with our program today. And the first one I'd like to mention is the Rotary Foundation. We're all contributors to the Rotary Foundation. The foundation has over $1 billion in assets. It's a GuideStar. GuideStar rates charities. All the charities that are filed with the IRS. The Rotary Foundation is rated 100 out of 100 points. Perfect rating. So you can be proud of the work that you do as a contributor and that our Rotary Foundation does. Our club will have a meeting in November, the first Tuesday in November, where they're going to talk about the Rotary Foundation and the work that it does. And the chairs of that committee are Roy House and Ted Schmidt. So thank you very much. And we all contribute through our monthly dues, a Rotary Foundation amount, and many in our club donate more than the minimum amount. So I give thanks to that. Foundation, the Rotary Foundation is supporting one of our club projects, the Global Vocational Training Team, and that is our club champion on that is Mohammed Spaya. And Dr. Spaya, as some of you know, was had his brother was in an accident and treatment in Marrakesh, and said, I'm going to find a way to get the best practices from the USA to Marrakesh medical people. And Rotary has supported that work. A large grant from the Rotary Foundation and also grants from Rotary clubs. For example, participants in this year's global grant were American Fork Rotary, Cedar City, Dixie Sunrise, Hurricane Valley, Zions Canyon, Park City Sunrise, Pleasant Grove, St. George Red Rock, Southwest Valley Sunrise, Salt Lake Rotary, and charities, LDS Charities and Typhi Humanitarian. Those charities and club members, several of our club members, I was involved, Dwayne Millard, Linda Cruz, Ted Stagg, Roger Thompson, all generous members who help support the grant. And then we turn and go to Rotary Foundation and say, we have this much support from our area and from the Rotary Club in Marrakesh, Morocco, the Menara Club there. And Rotary sent back money from their World Fund on that project. The total amount of dollars that are being spent on that project is over $100,000. So it's a marvelous program. I saw a video recently, and I know if you ask Dr. Sabaya, he'd be delighted to show this to you. It showed some of the treatments, some of the patients that were benefiting from this work. One lady who had been out with her baby gathering firewood, and rocks had fallen on her and crippled her. And she was being treated at the Mayor Clinic in Marrakesh. And just heart-rending stories like that of young people and folks who need help with rehabilitation that are learning these great miracles. So I encourage you to, I see Mohammed Spy over here to my right. They're waving at us. I hope you'll ask me more about the project. It's been a marvelous program. I'd like to also mention our club blog. Now, I've been a steady contributor to our club blog, and I want to show you Rotarians how easy it is to contribute to the club blog. You turn your camera on, everybody's got a camera, and you get a picture of the whole crowd. I'm going to take 2 pictures. Okay, I've got 2 pictures in here. You attach them to an email, and you address the email to devon@devonthorpe.com. And you put in there, this is the audience enthralled today at Rotary's meeting with the wonderful remarks being made by past President Mike Kevin. And you push send, and you're done. And then it shows up on Tumblr and on Facebook, and you're like famous. And not that anybody wants to be famous, but then the others of the club and friends of the club are able to say, hey, they had quite a meeting today, and a fabulous speech by past President Mike Kevin. So that's how easy it is. You put your phone back in the pocket and on you go. We can't, one of the things we found with the measurement committee is there was so much interesting and good things going on. Sometimes just a small project or a couple of Rotarians meeting with someone else or helping at a school or doing something. Those were the hardest for us to get that information. And we want to know what you're doing. We want to be, your fellow members want to hear about that. And the only way we know is when you take a quick picture and then email with a quick caption and explanation of what you did. It just takes a moment. Do it right then. So like Rotary.club, what a great name for a club blog. So let me mention that. The Youth Scholarship Program has been a marvelous opportunity for our Rotary Club to interface with students in the community. And within the past few years, there have been some 25 or so scholarships every year, $2,000 apiece. And our club members, under the leadership of the Scholarship Committee, which is Ben Chairman Sophia Keller, and now is Chairman Tim Brown, and Sophia are working together. How many members? Probably 25 or so members do interviews, don't they? Some number like that? Yeah, I mean, here, what a great opportunity to go and meet the cream of the crop of young people in our community and help them as they plan their college career, and then to provide funds from Rotary for those that qualify. And then once a year in the spring, we'll have a meeting where the students come and talk to the club members. And those are so inspiring because when you watch the news, you get a little discouraged sometimes. You hear young people who have goals and vision above the horizon. It's fun to see that our world's in very good shape with young people like this. So that also is funded by the Salt Lakes. That's funded by our own Salt Lake City Rotary Foundation, and by club funds, and by generous members. We've had a number of club members who have helped support that. Let me mention one other thing, and then I'm going to get out of the way so you can hear from Chuck and from Floyd. We've got a couple of opportunities. Paula Fellingham, where are you, Paula? Paula's going to chair a conference called the World Parliament of Spirituality, and she has given the opportunity to Rotary to host some of the delegates who are attending, some almost 200 delegates that are attending from all over the world to participate in the World Parliament on Spirituality, which is in November at the University of Utah. She needs, and that program needs, places for some of these delegates to house while they're in Salt Lake City. It's a 4-day opportunity, November 16th to 20th. So that's the week before Thanksgiving. We're all sitting around wondering if we do what we're going to do because we just don't have anything in our lives those days. Our friend Evan Thorpe here, who gets so excited about things, he came to the club a little while back and said, we could host a guy from Ghana who's a polio survivor who rides a bike in the Paralympics. fellow by the name of Alan Mamouni. A little bit, so we said, yeah, we'll do it. He ended up coming to our house. What a glorious experience. We met a young man that was such a talent. We wouldn't have had the opportunity had we not hosted him in our home. Russ Ferrick provided a bicycle. He stayed with the Thorpes a little while. I took him one day to the school where they have a bike shop out in, he spoke to the sixth graders. They sat there and wrapped attention while he talked about his school in Ghana, where he grew up on a dirt floor and where they would write on the dirt because they didn't have enough paper sometimes to do the lessons on paper. They would actually do some of the work writing in the dirt. Well, those kids with mouths open. What a great experience. It happened from hosting this young man. Anybody who's coming to a world conference on spirituality has got to be somewhat special, I would think. I think it's a great opportunity, and I plan to tell Paula we want to have at least one of the delegates in our home, and I hope you'll join me and check your calendars and do that if you can. We did that years ago with the Russian delegates. Some of you remember that. My gosh, those were glorious experiences for us, those who hosted. So I encourage you to don't let yourself be too busy to take on a project like that. One last project, one last thing, another tech thing. That's kind of a little buzzword for me. My good friend John Holmgren seated next to me, and we had a Rotarian from Mombasa. And John said, Mombasa, is that a new club in Salt Lake City? He said, how do you find out when they meet? I said, no, it's not. I said, what you find out is you go to the app. Who knew there was a Rotary app? Right there, Rotary, Club Locator. You push it, up comes Club Locator, and you type in Kenya or Mombasa or Boston or Tallahassee or Tucumcari, whatever city you're going to be in. There's probably 20 clubs in that, just like there's 14 of them here in Salt Lake, or 13. And they tell you what day they're on, they tell you the president's name, they tell you what the address is, and then you can check, attend a Rotary meeting. So Rotary Club Locator app, it's free, by the way. And I guarantee that'll help you sometime. Put that on your phone. Okay, I'm going to turn the time to another great committee member who'll tell you a little more about some of the interesting things that our club has done the last couple of years. Chuck Baker.
Down a little bit. Can you hear me? Okay. Be here today, and I'm so excited. I'm not peeing my pants, but at least as far as I know. What's exciting about this to me? Thank you. Putting this book together, I couldn't help but think from the show A Wonderful Life. But I think of George Bailey and the impact he had on his community when it was revealed what it would be like if he had never existed. No Rotary Club 24. We're attempting to quantify the club's impact on the community, and I'm sure we can agree it's going to add substantial value, and it has been. So anyway, I'm very excited about what we've done for the community. Our got a number of them here. I am very excited personally to be on the Acts of Kindness Committee. I'm just a believer in helping the least, and sometimes $250 is enough to keep someone in a house, enough to keep someone in a car, keep a job. It's just so exciting. We helped and Roy Fair Claus leadership. We've impacted 486 lives, $27,775. And it's a very great committee because we get an email, we review, and sometimes we deny one, but usually we are kind-hearted and do it. We want to also, and that's my committee, also Mike Criddle's new, and of course Glenn Lambert, he's the funniest one on the committee. Glenn, you here? The other one, the other number of them, John Sargent's involved in the weekly books. That's influenced 350 lives and only about $900. He's also involved in the Franklin Book Project, John Sargent, $3,575 they've put into that project. We've really done a lot for Franklin, and I'll be talking a little bit about Franklin. Who is on the School Education Committee? Would you please stand? How many on the School Education? There's about 30 of them. Please stand. 200 lives. Hogle Zoo, many lives impacted. Franklin to College, $24,000 donated. Very exciting. 6 scholarship recipients. That's direct help individuals. Franklin Tutoring, 50 lives. Franklin 6th grade promotion, all 6th graders. Franklin Tracy Aviary, 100 lives. Junior Achievement, 250 lives. 3rd grade dictionary. That's one of the most exciting programs, I think, in Rotary, is give these 3rd graders those dictionaries. I was at a meeting, I'm involved with Salvation Army, and we had the Hispanic Rotary come, and they gave away over 250 dictionaries to all the kids getting backpacks that day. It was very exciting. That's about $5,000. Boys and Girls Club. The lead Boys and Girls Club, that's 1,090 lives. And that's really all I wanted to go through today, but this just gives you an example of what we're doing in the community, and it's mostly all in your book, and we should be very proud of it, and next year let's even be better at reporting. So thanks again. Floyd?
Greeting Rotarians. Greeting Rotarians.
Hello.
That's better, thank you. I had a college professor once who he would never give us the handouts for that day because he knew if he did that, we'd all be like this, looking at things. But we want everybody to do that today. We hope that you're looking at this book and you're really enjoying what you see. I cannot tell you how much work it's been for this committee, and frankly, I was not as involved as I could have been with that. And really, a lot of this is in honor of our dear Alicia. I want to make it really clear on that health report that there's nothing really that's negative today. It's just that she felt it was in the best interest of this club to step back for a year, and don't we love her for that, and don't we want to pray and hope that she'll be back in a year. So we're very thankful. I want you to know that the nominating committee will be very busy, and we'll make sure that we have somebody to come in and to help with that. President Shahab is speaking today in Boston, and so he also sends his best as well. What you've seen here really is kind of a microcosm of this club. A group pulled together and said, let's do something kind of cool. Let's put this book together and let's show those that look at our club what we really do. We've been challenged by future President Shahab to see if we might affect 10,000 lives. And you'll see right on the front cover that we almost tripled the expectation because we had no idea what it was that this group of 250 members was doing. It's just going to get better, and what affects that is going to be our membership and future funds, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Some of you especially you that are visitors today, why Club 24? By now it's probably been pointed out to you that there are 35,000 clubs in the world, but this was the 24th to be formed. And here, really solid. We had president. We just know it really helps to help. I picked was it yesterday? Yeah. So last Tuesday I come and I'm having a great time, and suddenly he came up and gave me a squeeze. you look good, and my standards do look good. And that was the item. And we went up, and for the first time this entire summer, it rained. And so these little drops were down, and Carol said, "Come on, we got to go right now." And I said, "Oh, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it." Enjoyed that rain coming down as sort of a farmer does. That we're going to really be able to help with this. And we have tried awfully hard this last year to put, of course, with IRS issues, they need to be an arm's length situation. But we've been able to really have a nice relationship between our foundation and this club. And early on, I thought, well, how are we going to do this? And, when you have sparring parties, you put them in the same room and lock the door. And so, we took several members off of our board and several members off the foundation's board, some really great young members, some of you are sitting here, of this club, and said, here's your first project. You're going to get a chance to see how this Rotary Club works. And many said we couldn't do it. There's never been a real fundraiser that's not money into the corpus, which at this point is still a little bit under $1.5 million, 1.4 something. And it's just never really happened because the money goes in and the money goes out into our club's projects. And first year we were able to net $68,000, and the chair of that is kind of a has-been chair. But he really hoped, that was me, really hoped that we would be able to get to $100,000. We couldn't do it in our first shot out. But we netted $68,000, and that was a big deal for us. More importantly, I think that a lot of seeds were created in that event. As a result, things started happening. Now, I don't think the Norm Tanner gift happened as a result of that fundraiser, but isn't it interesting that after a dozen people were so diligent to help to make that happen, that in comes this gift absolutely out of the blue. Nobody in this club expected it, of another $60,000. So the has-been chair was able to see $100,000, even though it was a little bit murky how we got there. And the beauty of the Tanner gift is that continues on through the years. That's not going away. We're really excited about that. Your president last year felt it was important to create a new committee, and we probably have 40 of them already. And many asked, well, why another? Deep down inside, I just felt like we needed a medical committee, and I wanted to make sure it'd be successful and talk to some of the. We have some of the most amazing doctors in this club that exist in this city, and went to them and said, I can't even tell you why, but this just feels really important to me. And this would have been in 2015, well before I got sick, and he said, I just think it's important that we do this, and so we had several that looked at being a chair, and eventually another guy named Hatch, but I'm very proud of him, said I'll help and I'll take the reins of this. My father, Joe Hatch, and between Joe, he said, oh, Dad, there you are. He is here. I'll give one of these to him. I'm sorry, Dad. Dad and Nathan Brock took the thing and ran, and in their first fundraiser, they took 2 or 3 things together, but they're up in the $6,000 range. They've sent $4,000 to diabetes research to the U. and there's more to come. A crowning Rotary jewel for Dad last week was to stand up here and be able to sell a couple of golf games with the Summer Hayes father and son duo to one of our members, and we're thankful to the member, and we're thankful to the Summer Hayes, and we're thankful to everybody else. But it's all going to diabetes, and so that's kind of fun. I also want to add that the very first person went to the medical committee and said, I think I'm sick and I need some help. Went straight to the chair. I could do that with my end. And it was that help that got me on the right path and got things moving. So I'm very thankful to him for being my dad, but being able to help me as well. Not long after I started in the office, Salt Lake City Police interim chief Mike Brown came to me and said, this club had a police awards banquet forever. And he said, I'm well aware of that. And he said, do you think you'd like to do it again? He said, in a second. Okay, we'll take care of the rest. And that evolved. Now, many of you have asked, and I want to make it clear, a lot of you have helped, and you put up a donation to help make that first event happen. And the hope was that as a result of that, all those that put up that donation would be honorary colonels. I still believe deep down inside that someday when our mayor and our police chief and everybody else are able to sit down and everybody's happy with each other, that we'll be able to all be honorary colonels. And I can't tell you that for sure, but that's certainly the goal. And we're very thankful to Mike Brown. Who'd want that job? Who'd want to be the police chief of the city? No, thank you. One of your predecessors had this wild and crazy idea. Mike Wells was his name, 2 governors ago, and said, I'd like our district conference not to be, what's a place far ways away, Cedar City, St. George, Logan maybe. He said, no, we want to have this in Mexico. I just remember the first time I heard it thinking, you gotta be kidding me, Mexico. And the idea was that most people would fly to Phoenix and then rent a car. And I didn't know you could do this. I've never driven my own car in Mexico before. But the highway is something you can drive from Phoenix down to Puerto Penasco. And this club sent many members besides the Hatches, Ferrix, Russ Ferrix, Paul Young, Devin Thorpe, and others went down, and we had a ball. I could not believe how much fun it was. I say only in Mexico that this happened. Our assignment was, will you please double the size of our pinata factory in 4 days? And so the district, and Deb, this is just fine. And by the way, isn't it great having a governor with us today? We got 2. We have Devin, we have Jane Banks as well. I wanted to pick up the big, take the heavy load, and we're happy to do it. Our club membership is about 18% of the Rotarians of Utah. So in my mind, I always go, well, are we doing at least 18% of what we're being asked to do? And of course, I was a little bit anxious about this, but found out that the slab bar would be poured when we got there, and other things would be in place. And still being anxious about it, I knew that a wonderful club member, Jared Parker, would be down there, a contractor, but that we probably needed to make sure we had a contract with us every second. No offense to Russ, Paul, and Devin, but I knew that I needed to make sure. And so a good friend of mine went down with us, and we doubled the size of the pinata factory in 4 days. Yeah, the only, not that it was a mistake, but the only thing I've questioned since then is my youngest daughter is a high school art teacher, and I said, Courtney, what color should we make this thing? And you've all seen the pictures, shocking pink and turquoise, but I'll tell you, you can sure find it. So that was fun, but I want to add that there were 700 Rotarians and or the family members of the Rotarians down there cranked out hundreds and hundreds of dental cases and started 3 full homes compared to what we were doing. Of course, we had our project. I mean, really kind of transformed things in that city. It was a spectacular thing to do. District event goes, including the one that we're being asked to support in a few weeks. You feel really good about things because I don't care who you are, I don't care how young you are, Nick, but you get to these things and you go, this is okay. This works. and you learn so much about this great organization. It's a lot of fun. My last is, oh great. My last is, so this is another one of those governor things. So there's so many governors and they're so well lived that they can really team up on you. There must be at least 20 of them. 25? There are a bunch of them. And so they came to us, and those of you that were involved know, and said, this thing's coming to Salt Lake City called the Parliament of World Religions, and because we're Rotary, we just volunteer to do everything. And of course, as soon as the governors do that, then they go back to the clubs and say, okay, we have volunteered you to do everything. And our club had a great opportunity to be down and be involved with that. I don't know about the rest of you, but that's probably something I wouldn't have gone to. I mean, I wouldn't have wrote about that in the Tribune and said, I think I'll go down there. But because we were involved, we were able to go down and be a part of that. And to me, it was spectacular seeing people come from all over the world in different places, all the things that are happening. Now, Mike's already mentioned, was involved with a very, I don't know if you students were recognized before, but involved with a very similar situation. And she hasn't quite given us the number she needs and what's happening, but she's asked if we can help support her. And I know because I've already seen it, that members of this club are going to go help her now because that's just what we do. As a result of that World of Parliament Religions, our Rotary International president came. We had an all-club dinner. We had more than 500 people show up that night, and he was the speaker of this club. Well, my deputy was the chair of that event, and we put together the dinner that night, and we hosted and conducted and did everything else there. So in my year, we had the Rotary International president come. We had the Secretary General John Hugo come, and we came this close to getting former foundation chair Ray Cleansmith. He's had a bit of a health issue, and we're looking for another speaker for that. But I'll tell you, for a little club like this one, to have those three people, think about coming and visiting with us is pretty neat. So I'd probably set it up and I'll sit down, but we wanted to reserve plenty of time at the end for people to maybe not just ask questions, but this book is a work in progress. This book should probably be updated once a year. If your committee's not there, it's because you're asked and we didn't get the information in either in time or at all to be able to put it in. We color pictures in the future. There are other things we can do with that. But I'll tell you what, you take that book to somebody and say, I want you to come and be in this club with me because here are the things we do. It's going to be a lot easier job for you to do that. And I would hope that everybody would really consider doing that. We've had a lot of members go out the top end, as you know, in this last year, and we need to come in and be involved. And so membership it's an issue for every one of us, not just the membership committee. Thank you.
Comments or questions? Now, while you're thinking about it, John Holmgren here, of the LDS Church, a few years ago, they had a program where you get a Book of Mormon and then you write inside the front cover your testimony and you hand that to a non-member. He said, hey, I got a great idea for recruiting Rotary members. So try that out. This is perfect to go to someone who wants to know more about Rotary. Scott.
2 questions, Mike. And thank you for the committee for pulling this together. This codifies a lot of what each of us individually knew, but it's wonderful to see. But the 2 questions are this. A, is this available electronically? And B, are there any plans to circulate this beyond our Rotary Club to the press or elsewhere where the works of our club can be more widely known?
Well, Floyd's poking me in the back to answer that one. We will post the whole report on the blog there. So the blog, remember Mike told you, Salt Lake Rotary.club. So you can go there and we'll post it today. You can download it today. So it will be there. And the blog is the tool, what the club is doing with the public. So the best way for you to share that is to post it on social media. Now, I realize that there are a few of you who are not on social media, but most of you at least have a Facebook account. And since there are about 2 billion other people that do, when you share that on social media, it matters.
But what about reaching out to the media? What about reaching even just locally?
Channel 4 came today and did a story about this. So,
Fantastic.
yes.
Thank you.
Wait, one young person, Robin, will you just stand up and tell us what you think of this presentation today? And don't sugarcoat it. Come on. Come on, Robin. Followed by Peru.
I am just really impressed seeing all of the work and the cumulative work that all of you do and that the club is doing on community. It's very impressive and definitely something that I could help with outreach to members. Yeah, well done, and congrats to Joan for doing the book. It's great.
Pearl.
First of all, again, thank you to the committee that created this, because that created documents like this, it is a monumental amount of work. So, kudos again to you and your efforts for this. The first one is always the hardest. I do encourage everybody to continue to track the work they do, and let's make this a yearly publication, because I do think this will be able to spread awareness of our club and the great work that we do. So thank you.
Thank you, Clark. Just one more point I want to try and extract from you. How many of you learned something that the club had done that you didn't previously know the club had done today? Raise your hand. I think that's everybody. I mean, I think literally no one knows all the good that the club is doing. And I think this helps, but it isn't complete. I want to make sure that next year's report is complete. So on page 3, open up your copy of the book to page 3. Okay, raise your hand when you've got to page 3. I want to make sure everyone's there. Okay, so it's the main summary pages. In the lower right-hand corner, you see the URL where you can go to enter a report for your committee, your project, whatever it is that you've done with Rotary. You go to that URL, saltlakerotary.club/report, and you can submit a report for next year's book. And I don't want you to forget to do that every time you do something good with Rotary this year, okay? Any objections?
Nope.
Okay, then the book, I'm trying to figure out why, is it Linda that picks the books?
Yeah.
Linda, I'm a little bit confused about this one. The book is Eruption. I guess that's a high impact activity in Eruption, so maybe that fits. Yeah. So Mike and Floyd, Chuck will have you guys sign the book, and I think we can stand adjourned.
I'll be back.
Yes, thank you.